Alright, we're going to do an overview of this relic from my childhood. So this is a 2008 Garchomp rainbow deck, rainbow scale deck. So this is definitely a bit of TCG lore right here. At least in my local tournament, or like local tournaments I did as a kid between like 2007 to 2010 is kind of like when the most active I was, and I always liked playing the game more than collecting the game. And one of the things we're going to do is look through an artifact from 2008 right now. So in my local league, there was when Diamond and Pearl came out, 4th gen came out, Garchomp was a new card, and there was the rainbow scale deck, and it played off specifically this Garchomp with the rainbow scale Pokebody, and it just basically ups Dragon Fang from 70 to 110 damage if you have the right energy on Garchomp. So we're gonna do a little breakdown of this deck now. So I'm running one Garchomp level X. Garchomp level X has Dragon Pulse and Restore. Restore basically lets you get Garchomps out of the graveyard. So if one of these gets knocked out, you can restore Garchomp with 3 energy cards attached straight to it from the discard pile. Dragon Pulse is an effect out of hand. So once you level up a Garchomp into Garchomp level X, then you can roll 3 dice and do some snipe damage across the entire opponent's board. So I'm running 3 Garchomp with the rainbow scales, 1 Garchomp level X. Got a 2 run of the same era as those Gabites with Gather Up and Marvelous Shine. Marvelous Shine is more sniping, and Gather Up is good energy, getting energy out of the discard pile. We're gonna run 4 Gibbles. And then this is where deck lists differ on this thing a little bit. So right now, I have 2 Stantler with the lead attack. And lead lets you just search your deck with a no energy cost, lets you search your deck for a supporter card and put it in your hand. And I ran 2 Spinda. You can see I'm missing one right now because I'm going to rebuild this deck a little bit. So I ran 2 Spinda, and Spinda has Dish Out, which is a 2-card draw for 1 energy, and Synchro Punch, which is pretty good early damage for this era, where, you know, most basic Pokemon like this had 70 hit points. So, you know, Synchro Punch, if you got the right energy on it, will do 40 damage turn 2 or 3 if you throw out energy on this. So these are just here for support. Honestly, you should probably run 4 Stantler, a full play set of Stantlers. But I was experimenting. I have more Stantlers, but I have something even better than Stantler, I believe. We're going to swap out. So that's what I was running there for just some support for the deck. I built this deck originally off of cards I had in my personal childhood collection, and some newer cards, some older cards are in here. You know, I'm an unlimited player format. I do not care about what's in and out of this, you know, meta play thing. I just build decks that I think are fun from my childhood, which is a completely different play style than now. So we're running a 2-2-1 line of Porygon, Porygon 2, and Porygon Z. This Porygon Z is a newer set, 2017 on this one, and I did it because Initialize on this Porygon Z this is basically just an option. It also does a pretty good chunk of damage if you can get 3 energy on it, but it's not really meant to be used as an attacker or as a main evolution chain. It's literally just in here for support. So when you play this card from your hand to evolve a Porygon 2, it will de-evolve everything on your opponent's board. So that's actually really handy if there's damage counters, sniping, if there's a lot of damage counters along the board, that you can initialize, de-evolve Pokemon and get knockouts that way. So that's just in there for support and like a last ditch, I need to do 80 damage type of thing. So that's why there's only 1 of them in there. This is mostly why I run this. So download on this Porygon 2 is really, 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 really good, because download allows you to play 2 supporters per turn. So download, you can use a supporter from your hand and then use another supporter. It's very handy. It's very, very handy, especially mixed with Stantler, which lets you search for supporter cards. you can play a lot of supported cards pretty quickly with this deck, especially if you're running a full play set of Stantlers. So that's what's in there for that. And then we'll go to trainers. 2 warp points from that era. These were still in the play cycle when these cards came out. So that's in there. I'm running 3 rare candies, but I got the Pokemon breeders in there because that's what I had laying around in the old collection. So, and I have a newer rare candy. I'm probably going to swap these out for rare candies that are all matching because this bugs me. So we got that. We got a whole bunch of support trainer cards that I'm probably going to swap out here. I said I'm going to kind of reconstruct this deck to be more in line with exactly how the 2008 deck list was built. I was working with what I had when I rebuilt this deck for my collection. So Master Ball, just search for Pokemon. Level Ball, newer card I had. I threw it in there because it's handy. Premier Ball to get the Garchomp level X out. Luxury Ball to get anything else out. Dusk Ball, a couple Great Balls. That's just literally in there just so you can get Pokemon out onto the bench. Expert Belt. There needs to be more tool cards in this deck because the original deck list for this was plus powers. There's a full play set of plus powers in this deck. And plus powers are good, but not great. So I'm probably going to swap the Expert Belt for muscle bands because muscle bands are 20 extra damage and no drawbacks like an Expert Belt, which gives your opponent an extra prize card if you get your Pokemon knocked out with it. So that will probably get removed. A couple Team Galactic's Mars, classic, draw 2, 1 destruction to your opponent's hand. Couple Mr. Stone's Project, this is before Roseanne's Research. So Roseanne's Research is probably a better card because it lets you go for basic Pokemon and basic energy. But we got 2 Mr. Stone's Project. Got 2 Bebe searches for evolution and or basic searches. And remember, all this is synergizes the very supporter heavy deck. It synergizes very well with download off this Porygon 2 because you can play a Bebe Search, and if you wanted to, you could play a Mr. Stone's Project, so that you could get energy and you can get an evolution or a basic or whatever you're looking for. A couple newer cards in here that I threw in here because I thought they were useful. Some Trainer's Mail, just so you can get some stuff cycling through, but those might get removed. A couple old school Professor Oak's Research, so just to reshuffle. This is basically, I think, what's the card's name? Newer card, Shauna. Newer card does the exact same thing as this. Couple Celio's Networks, which is just more basic and or evolution card searches, and you can't search for EX cards, but there's no EX cards in this deck, so this will also grab the Garchomp level X out, or whatever else you need. And then the energies. This is why it's called a rainbow deck. So I got a couple basic rainbow, or sorry, not basic, these are special energy cards, but I just got 2 rainbow energies, and these are just to help offset the rainbow scale effect on this Garchomp, because if you don't have the exact energy you need for the rainbow scale effect Pokebody to come into play, you would just be able to throw a rainbow energy onto a Garchomp and then you're covered. But along with these rainbow energies, this is the real powerhouse of this deck. It's got a good mix of basically every type of energy card because of how rainbow scale works. So, and you need, for rainbow scale, you need the energy that your opponent's Pokemon is weak to, and it will do 40 more damage. So that's where all of this comes in, is that you hope that you can get a good smattering of energy onto a Garchomp, so that way whatever's on the other side of the board, you're being able to pump out 110 to 130 damage, depending on what tool cards or attachment cards you have on this Garchomp. Mixed with the fact that once any of these Garchomps gets knocked out and you have the level X Garchomp on the bench or whatever, you can swap in, restore, grab a Garchomp from the discard pile, and throw whatever energy cards you want right out of the discard pile onto that Garchomp again. So that's the basic overlay or overview of this deck, and I'm gonna rebuild it a little bit, and then I'll redo this part of it just to show you what's different, and then I'll probably show you this deck playing against another one of my decks. Alright, so we're back. I rebuilt this a little bit, more akin to what the original like card / deck list was from 2008 from some of the forum posts I found. Oh, I'm very pink in this video. Anyway, so let's just look at this now. So still running 3 Garchomp, 1 Garchomp level X, 2 Gabite, 4 Gibble. But now this is where things change. We got 2 Togekiss with Serene Grace. So when you play Togekiss from your hand, or when you play Togekiss from your hand to evolve a Togetic, you can look at the top 10 cards of your deck, choose as many basic energy cards as you like, and attach them to Pokemon in any way you like. Very good. So we're running a 2, 1, 2 line of Serene Grace Togekiss. And then we swapped out Stantler and Spinda for a full play set, 4 of this Sableye with the Pokebody, which is, you can't really see it. I think it's called, let me see if I can read it. It's the Overeager Pokebody on this, which means you always go first. And then if this is your active Pokemon on the first turn. And then Impersonate is just broken. Search your deck for a supporter card and discard it. Shuffle your deck afterwards, then use the effect of that card as the effect of this attack. So basically use supporter cards as this attack. So it's Stantler. Stantler lets you search for a supporter card and put it into your hand. This straight up just uses the supporter card. And as you can see, it only came out a year after that Stantler. That Stantler was printed 2007. This one was printed 2008. So basically the same exact era and set as this card. But this is just a broken card in my opinion. So we're running a full 4 of these in this deck. And then just keep the Celios, kept the Bebes, kept the Mr. Stone's projects. This is where we start seeing some brokenness. So I got 2 of these Castaways. Search your deck for a supporter card, a Pokemon tool card, and a basic energy card. Show them to your opponent and put them into your hand. That to me feels broken, like exceedingly broken, to the point where I feel like I need to get more of these just for more of my unlimited decks, because they are broken. These holographic Castaways were kind of pricey, about $5 a piece, but you know, it is what it is. Those are broken cards, and they were in the original deck list for this in 2007. So, I put 1 Steven's Resolve. It's the newer card. Very broken, though, especially if you synergize this with Sableye, because this ends your turn. Sableye's attack ends your turn. So, you just, if this isn't in your hand or in your prizes, then Sableye can do it, and you just get 3 cards you want right off the bat. Kept the Trainer's Mail, because the Trainer's Mail will help you cycle through and find what you need. Kept the Warp Points for being able to shift things around. Kept the Level Ball. Kept 1 Great Ball just for searching for basics and or evolutions, because this will grab out a Gabite or a Sableye or a Togetic or a Togepi. This will grab out any of the basics. Luxury Ball will grab out anything besides level X cards. Premier Ball will grab out anything, or will grab out level X cards specifically. And then this is also different, so we're running a full play set of muscle bands for the Garchomps, so that the Garchomp is pumping out 130 damage consistently without any drawbacks of the Expert Belt. And we're running a full play set of rare candies. And depending on what I feel like doing, I run rare candies how they were intended to be run, and not with the stupid revisioning of it. So at one point when I was playing as a kid, rare candies, they went from Pokemon Breeder to rare candies, and it was like you could play a Togepi from your hand on the bench, and then if you had a rare candy, you could immediately rare candy straight into a Togekiss. They shifted that now to where you have to play a Togepi from your hand to the bench, wait a turn, and then you could rare candy it. I play with some of my own house rules or some older rule set sometimes, because I think that that's like an unnecessary nerf, but it kind of depends on how I'm feeling. But that's a newer rare candies, because those were like a 25 cents a piece, versus older rare candies with the older printings from older sets, like say rare candies from 2005 to 2007. They have different printings, but they're like really friggin' expensive now, like $5 a card expensive, couple dollars a card expensive. And then I didn't touch anything with the energies. I might swap out the 2 rainbow energies for 2 more basic energies, so that way you fully take advantage of the Togekiss's Serene Grace ability. So 1, 2, so without those, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 regular basic energy cards in this deck. So this is the deck list for this kind of unlimited, a little bit revamped, newer, older cards, Garchomp deck. So now I'm going to cut here. I'm going to shuffle this deck up, and we'll run a couple practice hands to show you how it, see if it's consistent. Like, we'll play a couple practice hands just for ourselves. Also, all my decks have the best possible card sleeves. I think they're called Dragon Shield, I think, or something like that. They're very nice card sleeves, but I also double sleeve all of the holographics and or like collectible cards, because I have quite a few old cards in here, like those Castaways and even those Togekisses, which are like $5 to $10 a piece now for those cards. So I try to keep them nice. So yeah, so all my decks are Dragon Shielded, and then any of the holos, the rares, or anything that's valuable has this perfect fit side loading sleeve that's then put inside of a Dragon Shield. So I try to keep all my vintage cards nice, because these old decks like this with all the old cards in them, they're pretty pricey. Like just the Garchomp Level X and the 3 holographic Garchomps would probably run you off at eBay or any other singles site. You're looking at probably 30 plus bucks for all 4 of those cards or more, depending. I think I paid like $5, maybe $6 a piece for each of those Garchomps, and I think maybe like 15 to 20 bucks for that Garchomp Level X. So, you know, their old cards are pretty pricey and pretty valuable. So keep carrying your cards, double sleeve all the good ones, and let's run a couple practice hands here. Fully shuffled up here, we're gonna cut, and then we're gonna go ahead and deal a hand here. So 6 prize cards, 7 card hand, deck, very consistent, 2 Sableye to start, 2 of the Celios, a level ball. So if you're going to play this hand, very, very playable. So you put that down. I'd probably just keep that in my hand for now. So then, because if I go first, I'm going to go first no matter what. So I do draw for turn because of overeager. You'd probably just you'd definitely throw out that level ball. This gives you a chance to kind of shuffle through here and see what's in here and what's missing. All right, what's in the prizes? What's in the prizes? Looks like we got most of what we need in here to... Yes, looks like we're good. So, I think, yep, 1 Garchomp. There's a Togekiss, Gabite Gibble, another Garchomp. Okay, we've got at least 2 Garchomps in here. 1 Garchomp's in the prizes. Pretty good. So, I'd level ball probably in this particular situation. I'd level ball straight into a Gibble. Go ahead and throw a couple shuffles through this. Probably cut this like that. The Gibble will go straight to my bench. I drew a Rainbow Energy, so I just throw a Rainbow Energy straight onto that Gibble, and then obviously it would get a damage counter for that Rainbow Energy. I then have to end my turn if you're going to go first, because you can't attack. At least I don't. Yeah, you can't attack on your first turn. So the next turn you draw for turn. Good draw for turn. Get that right down on the ground. Probably throw my next energy card straight onto Gibble. play a Celios, get a Gabite. Well, do I have, let's see, paying attention to my hand here. I don't have a rare candy yet, but that's fine because if we were to throw a Gabite right onto that Gibble, just like that, and then that's the Celios for this turn, but then we would just do Impersonate. So what we're going to do is go through here, and let's see what we can do with Impersonate. So, do I have what I need? Okay, Steven's Resolve's in here. So probably my first Impersonate would be Steven's Resolve, so that gets discarded like you're using it. So then you'd use Steven's Resolve as the effect of that attack. So I get 3 cards, any 3 cards I want. So if we're going to do any 3 cards I want, I have the Premier Ball in my hand, so I don't need to grab Garchomp level X because I already have it. So what we'd probably do is set up the next thing I need. So probably we'll do a rare candy, get another Gibble, and a Togekiss. And that is because we can do this on the next turn, as long as Sableye is obviously there. So, Sableye is obviously not a very beefy Pokemon, but again, my play style is the older style of play. So it's a lot slower style of play, a lot more based on second stage evolutions and drawn out strategies. So I'd probably, so that's the end of my turn, so whatever happened, let's say, oh yeah, I would have evolved that. And let's say that got knocked out. That got knocked out. I probably should have just played that straight to my bench anyway. I'd probably just stick the second one up here. Having that knocked out on like the second or third turn is probably not realistic, but we're just going to do it for the sake of it. So then this turn, I'd probably throw that straight down. I'd rare candy straight into Togekiss, and then let's just read Serene Grace again really quick here. To evolve your Pokemon, top king cards. Okay, so we would rare candy straight into that, which allows us to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 1 basic energy, 2 basic energy, 3 basic energy, 4 basic energy, and then that's what's left. So that's pretty good result with Serene Grace. We have 2 fully loaded up and ready to rock and roll, a Gibble and a Gabite, on what, the 4th turn. It's pretty dang fast setup, honestly, for one of these old decks. Very fast setup. And obviously Togekiss is still an attacker potentially if you absolutely needed to, so I'm still not done. So we could probably Celios Networks and Premier Ball at the same time, since we're going to search anyway, and grab definitely grab Garchomp level X and a Garchomp. And then I'd probably just straight evolve straight into that. That has a retreat cost on it. Garchomp does not. We need to get the Garchomp level X in play because this is in my hand right now. And you can't put a level X card onto a bench Pokemon. It has to be an active Pokemon. It's kind of how they balanced them out. So, at least I believe that's what the rule set was for these. Put this card onto your active Garchomp. Yeah, so it has to be an active Garchomp. So what we'll probably do to end my turn is Impersonate again, straight into, if we're looking through this, we'd Impersonate into what supporter? Maybe a Castaway. That's a supporter card, a tool card, and a basic energy card. It's not bad, it's not bad. What do I want to do here? 2 Bebes there. Probably. Okay, we'll do a Castaway. So, it's a tool card, basic energy card, And what else was it? Search your deck for a supporter card, tool card, basic energy card. Yeah, okay, so supporter card. So supporter card at this point, we would probably want, you know what we would want? We would probably want on Mr. Stone's project to get some basic energy, more energy out of the deck. So you can see that this deck is pretty dang consistent now. It was consistent before, but not this consistent. This is pretty incredible. So that was my turn because that was impersonate. So impersonate happened. Let's say this is the 5th or 6th turn now, if I'm remembering correctly. So the other deck, I know my other decks would definitely probably have an attacker of some type ready to go at this point, potentially kind of like I do right here. So let's just say, that didn't get knocked out, so I have to burn an energy. So we'll draw for turns. This is 5 or 6 turns in. Okay, so I got another energy. What we would probably do is directly burn an energy off, and we would use whatever energy wasn't required for this deck. So if I didn't need a water energy for whatever I'm fighting, because it's not weak, it doesn't require this. This would go up. Oh, sorry, that doesn't go there. That goes there because I retreated it. This would get level X'd. It would get a muscle band, and then I would probably, because this is a free retreat cost, and I don't really want Garchomp level X being booted really early on. So we would want to probably get this down here, put this back up here, Mr. Stone's Research into 2 more basic energy cards. We'll just grab another water. We'll grab whatever we want, fire. And then we probably impersonate for another search, and I'd probably need either a Celios or a Bebe's at this point, because I need another, or, you know what we would do? This is what we would do. We would probably do, if it's in here, we do my other Castaway, get a Bebe's, get another energy card, doesn't matter, this is an example, and it says tool card, right? Yeah, probably just another tool card, because what we can do now, that would be turn. Okay, let's say, for giggles, let's see what's in here. Okay, one of the Togekiss, Rare Candy, Garchomp, Mr. Stones. Okay, not bad. That's why you run a full playset of both of those. Okay, so let's say that gets knocked out this turn, and I'm forced to now play, this is all in my hand, I'm forced to now play draw for turn, just to experiment. Okay, another Sableye. I probably have no choice but to stick this Garchomp up since it's ready to rock and roll, and I'd play a Bebe's, throw a Bebe's down. I'm gonna check one of these energy cards back on top here for that Bebe's. Grab a, if it's in here at this point, yeah, another Gabite. Get a Gabite on there. Pretty good consistency. Throw a muscle band on that Gabite so it's hitting harder. And I would, this turn would, oh, and then don't forget Dragon Pulse. So when I played that, I would have rolled 3 dice, and whatever I got would have heads or tails, right? Odds, evens. You would have done damage counters to your opponent's bench. So as you see, first game here, pretty consistent, good. Because next turn, say I did that as my attack, whatever happens next turn, I'd probably get some damage on that. Got another Rainbow Energy. I'd probably free retreat this down. I got another Sableye. I'd definitely stick a Sableye up there. I'd probably do Impersonate again, just to see what my options even are. And I'm running out of them but I can still get a Bebe's, and I use that card as that card's effect, so I'll probably just chuck another one of the basic energies in my hand back on here, and I'd get a Garchomp with that Bebe's and Impersonate like that. Next turn, let's say this is pretty far into the game. Let's say that this gets knocked out. I'm now 3 prize cards down, technically 2 or 3 prize cards down, but now I have another Garchomp ready to rock and roll here. So I'm missing my 3rd Garchomp. So this is where you maybe would want to run a full 4 line of that Garchomp in here, so that way you're not because I know I'm relegated to 2, but the nice thing about this is that even if this one gets knocked out, this comes up, uses restore, restores that straight to the bench. So this is this now. Yeah, I'd just be pumping at 130 damage consistently as long as I'd be doing 90 damage, but if the opponent's Pokemon is weak to any of the energy attached to this, it'd be doing 130. So let's say next turn that got knocked out, that's fine, because basically what would happen is that would go to the discard pile, right? This is my hand, prize cards. This would come up, and I probably take some damage on this, but it doesn't matter. I would restore. Immediately this goes straight to the... And it's any stage 2 Pokemon. It could have been a Togekiss too. And then those 3 basic energy cards go straight back onto that Garchomp because of restore. And then that's my turn. Say that gets some damage on it. Hopefully it doesn't get knocked out. If it doesn't get knocked out, I would either, depending on where I'm in at the game, knockouts, prize cards wise, either free retreat that down, free retreat this back up, and continue to pump out damage. But there you go. So that's the first like practice hand for like consistency, and just for, you know, sake of showcasing this bully. We'll do another hand here, not a full hand like that one, but another. Back up pretty good here. Get a couple good shuffles through it. But we'll just do this really quick just to showcase hands wise. See if they're playable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Very playable. Very, 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 very playable. Sableye, Gibble, Bebe's Research, both the Luxury Ball and the Premier Ball in the opening hand. Trainer's Mail's even better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Playable because I got a Sableye, good opener. I can get a basic right onto the bench. We could get a Garchomp second turn with the rare candy, or get the Togekiss out for more energy on everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Even more playable because we got Sableye, a whole bunch of basics, Bebe's, Mr. Stones. Very good. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not so playable. That's a mulligan, but we're far into the deck now. So, you know, that's pretty good. It's pretty good consistency. That'd be a mulligan to your opponent on that one. Let's see. Let's do one more here. Sorry, here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Very playable. Gibble, Sableye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not so playable. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Still playable, but most of the utility cards are now out in hands. So, yeah, very consistent, I would say. Very fun, consistent deck. It's the Rainbow deck. This is the Rainbow deck in my humble opinion. So, pretty fun, pretty cool. I'm really glad to have this kind of this piece of my childhood history permanently in my collection. And this is fun. I love Unlimited Pokemon, the TCG. And I'll probably show you some more of my decks, and probably some games between some of my decks, if this is any interesting to anyone. I'm a nerd, unapologetically. But thanks for watching. This is pretty fun, and have a great evening.